it is 9 p.m. In RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the conclusions of the national workshop on strategic multi-hazard risk assessment. The U.S. Vice President announced major progress towards an agreement with Iran. Welcome to our newsroom. The head of state, Ismail Omar Guelleh, has expressed his support to his Yemeni counterpart, Mr. Rashad Al-Alimi, following the death of the former Yemeni President Abdurrabbu Mansur Hadi, which occurred yesterday. In a telegram address to the Yemeni president, the head of state said that he learned the news with shock and consternation before extending his deepest condolence. President Guelleh emphasized that the people and government of Djibouti join him in expressing their sympathy and solidarity with the sister nations of Yemen, which is facing the loss of one of its most prominent leaders. He also extended his thought to the family and relatives of the deceased, reiterating his sincere condolence to the President Rashad Al-Alimi as well as to the entire Yemeni people. President Guelleh pays tribute to the memory of the late Dini Mohammed Burhan, the President of the Republic. His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh has paid a heartfelt tribute to the memory of the late Dini Mohammed Burhan, a senior civil servant of the Djiboutian state and a highly respected figure among his compatriots who passed away this Friday. With the passing of the late Dini Mohammed Burhan, Djibouti has lost one of its most valuable sons, widely known for his constant commitment to our national unity and social cohesion, said President Guelleh. A polyglot and outgoing personality, he always served as a discreet bridge between the various cultural components of our country, for which he held a deep passion. The head of state added, a seasoned administrator, he consistently fulfilled with courage, talent, and perseverance all the positions of the responsibility entrusted to him through his long and distinguished personal career. The President further stressed extending his deepest condolence to his family, relatives, and friends, former commissioner, notably in Dakhil, Oboh, and Tajura. The late Dini Mohammed Burhan also served as a Director General of the Population, Secretary General of the Ministry of Interior, the Chief of Staff and Technical Advisor at the Prime Minister's offices, and President of the National Independent Electoral Commission, among other roles. A devoted family man, he leaves behind several children. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The head of state receives warm congratulations from the President of the European Council. The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, continues to receive telegrams of congratulations following his resounding re-election to the highest offices of the country. These messages from the head of state and government of friendly countries, as well as from senior officials leading regional, continental, and international organizations, all praise the decisive victory and the overwhelming electoral result achieved by President Guelleh. The President of the European Council, His Excellency Antonio Costa, is among the largest leaders to send such a message to the head of state. I wish to express my sincere and warm congratulations on the occasions of your inauguration for a new term as President of the Republic, wrote the President of the European Council in his message to His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. Mr. Antonio Costa also took the opportunity to express satisfaction with the friendship and cooperation ties between the European Union and Djibouti. We wish to continue strengthening our mutual beneficial partnership with the Republic of Djibouti. He noted, describing the countries as an important actor in its regions and a key partner in promoting security, conflict resolution, and multilateralism. The European Union looks forward to continue our close cooperation under your leadership during this new term, he added, reiterating his warm congratulations and wishes for success to the President of the Republic. On the other note, the national level, the issue of women's representation is showing notable progress, with 8 women out of the 26 members representing nearly 30.8% of the new 2026 government. The Djiboutian political scene is recording significant progress in terms of inclusion. This development reflects a clear commitment by the authority to strengthen the role of women in decision-making centers from parliament to the executive branch. Their presence continues to grow, reflecting a gradual shift from symbolic representations to full and active participations in powers. A closer look at this ongoing dynamic in this newsroom with the magazine.
2026 government reshuffle marks a major political turning point in the promotion of women's representation in Djibouti. Under the leadership of the President of the Republic, Ismail Margele, the issue of female representation has become a central pillar of governance, moving well beyond symbolic considerations. Today, the presence of women in public institutions is no longer viewed simply as a matter of quotas. It has become part of a broader approach centered on responsibility, participation, and involvement in the country's strategic decision-making process. Before reaching government office, the path often begins in parliament. Women currently make up around a quarter of Djibouti's members of parliament. Progress made possible through quota policies and the gradual opening of political life. Over the years, their influence has steadily expanded through active participation in parliamentary debates, growing influence within committees, and increasing involvement in the drafting of legislation. This institutional evolution gradually paved the way for greater responsibilities within the executive branch. In successive governments, women were initially appointed to social sectors before taking on broader strategic portfolios, including health, investment, digital economy, youth, family affairs, and urban development. Their growing responsibilities reflect a broader shift in perceptions regarding women's leadership, expertise, and role in national decision-making. The 2026 reshuffle represents a particularly visible stage in this political evolution. The new government now includes 8 women out of 26 cabinet members, representing nearly 30.8% female participation. This level surpasses the 25% benchmark often referenced in Djibouti's gender promotion policies and illustrates the steady rise of women's representation within national institutions. Several women now occupy key ministerial positions, directly contributing to political orientations and major state decisions. The new cabinet composition is widely seen as the result of a clear political commitment supported by President Ismail Margele to strengthen women's inclusion within the country's decision-making centers. Beyond the numbers, this evolution reflects a broader transformation in governance itself. Women's participation is no longer limited to questions of representation or institutional balance. It is increasingly associated with responsibility, efficiency, and the effectiveness of public action. Their growing presence in leadership circles is gradually reshaping political and administrative balances across the country. In this context, the path from parliament to government appears as part of a continuous process, one defined by gradual investment, institutional reforms, and reinforced by recent political choices. The 2026 reshuffle therefore reflects an optimistic dynamic in which women's representation is becoming a lasting feature of institutional life and a key indicator of state modernization.
Still at the national level, the health sector is strengthening its preparedness mechanism against risks. The Ministry of Health, with the support of the World Health Organization and its technical and financial partner, has concluded at the Sheraton Hotel in Djibouti the National Strategic Multi-Hazard Risk Assessment Workshop conducted using the STAR strategic tool for assessing risks methodology. The closing ceremony was held in the presence of the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Muhammad Ali Muhammad, and WHO representatives in Djibouti, highlighting the importance placed on strengthening the national health security and the preparedness for public health emergencies. Gathered over 3 days of intensive work, participants drew from the health sector, civil protections, environment, agriculture, and armed forces, alongside United Nations agencies, NGOs, and technical and financial institutions, identified and analyzed the main risks likely to affect the country, including epidemic, natural disasters, climate shocks, and humanitarian emergencies. Through a multi-sectoral approach based on the One Health concept, discussions, assessment, existing vulnerability, national preparedness, capacity, and emergency response mechanisms The recommendations from this workshop will contribute to the development of a national multi-hazard risks profile and will serve as a reference for strengthening public policies, surveillance systems, and national prevention, preparedness, and response capacities. In his closing remarks, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, praised the commitment and mobilizations of participants as well as the spirit of intersectoral collaboration that marked the work. He reaffirmed the government's determination to continue effort to build a more resilient health system capable of anticipating and effectively managing health and humanitarian crises. The Secretary General stated that this strategic risk assessment is an essential tool for better guidance national priority in emergency preparedness and response. Continuing with the health sector activity, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, accompanied by the Ambassador of Japan to the Republic of Djibouti and the UNICEF representative in Djibouti, carried out a field visit to the Farahad Polyclinic and affiliated community health structures. The visit aimed to closely assess activities implemented in vaccinations and child nutrition, community awareness, and maternal and child health monitoring. On site, the delegation met with healthcare teams, community health workers, volunteers, and program beneficiaries. Officials praised the ongoing effort to strengthen access to primary health care, particularly in the most vulnerable neighborhoods. A discussion is also highlighted, encouraging results achieved through the partnership between the government of Djibouti, UNICEF, and the government of Japan, particularly in the fight against child malnutrition and the improvement of vaccination coverage. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Health reaffirmed the government's determination to continue strengthening the community health systems, stressing the importance of sustained mobilization of technical and financial partners to ensure accessible and quality healthcare services for every child and mother. For their part, the Ambassador of Japan and the UNICEF representative expressed satisfaction with the progress made and renewed their commitment to support health initiatives for the most vulnerable populations. This visit illustrates the shared commitment of Djiboutian authorities and their partners to strengthen prevention, nutrition, and community health actions for the benefit of the entire population. On the geopolitical front, Djibouti, thanks to its strategic positions at the crossroads of the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean, is increasingly asserting itself as a key geopolitical actor. The country plays a central role in strengthening security and promoting peace at both regional and international levels.
The Republic of Djibouti continues to reinforce its regional and international standing, capitalizing on its strategic position at the southern entrance of the Red Sea and along one of the world's busiest maritime corridors, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, linking the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean. This unique location has positioned Djibouti as a pivotal hub for maritime security and global trade, while also elevating its role in regional and international political and diplomatic affairs. As a result, the country has emerged as an influential player, bridging Africa, the Arab world, and the broader international community. Since gaining independence in 1977, Djibouti has pursued a balanced foreign policy rooted in positive neutrality and openness towards international partners. This strategy has enabled the country to expand its presence within regional and global institutions and forums. The policy has also strengthened Djibouti's reputation as a country committed to dialogue, cooperation, and stability in the Horn of Africa, one of the world's most geopolitically sensitive regions. Over the years, Djibouti has built an extensive network of political, diplomatic, and economic relations, allowing it to play a role that extends beyond its geographic size and population. Within this framework, Djibouti has become an active supporter of peace efforts and conflict resolution initiatives across the region and the African continent. The country has taken part in mediation efforts aimed at bridging differences between conflicting parties in Somalia, Sudan, and South Sudan. These efforts have helped promote peaceful solutions and reinforce dialogue as a strategic tool for addressing regional crises, earning Djibouti recognition as a credible platform for consultation and political engagement. Djibouti also continues to contribute to international peacekeeping operations. Since 2011, Djibouti forces have participated in the African Union mission in Somalia, particularly in the Hiran region of central Somalia, while also contributing to peacekeeping missions in the Central African Republic. This commitment reflects Djibouti's long-standing dedication to supporting international peace and security and promoting stability in conflict-affected regions. It is based on the belief that regional and global security is a shared responsibility requiring collective contributions according to each nation's capabilities and expertise. At the regional level, Djibouti currently holds the rotating chairmanship of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD. The responsibility reflects the confidence placed in the country by member states and underscores its role in coordinating regional efforts to address security, migration, economic development, and climate-related challenges. Through this role, Djibouti seeks to strengthen regional integration, reinforces cooperation mechanisms, and promote more effective collective responses to cross-border issues. Djibouti's diplomatic engagement is also reflected in the participation of President Ismail Mergele and senior state officials in regional, continental, and international summits and conferences. The country has become a regular presence at meetings of the African Union, the United Nations, Arab and Islamic summits, and other multilateral forums, contributing its perspective on key regional and international issues. This sustained engagement has further enhanced Djibouti's image as a reliable international partner committed to sustainable development and to addressing global challenges, particularly in the areas of food security, economic growth, and the integration of Africa into international trade and investment networks. As Djibouti approaches the 49th anniversary of its independence, the country continues to reaffirm its commitment to a measured diplomatic approach and to strengthening its active presence on the international stage. In support of its national interests, regional stability, and a future built on cooperation, partnership, and integration among nations and peoples. This direction reflects a path pursued since independence and reinforced over the decades through an increasingly assertive political and diplomatic presence.
In the Horn of Africa's region, Ethiopia is undertaking a major transformations of its transport sector. Listen for more details.
Ethiopia is accelerating its transition towards electric mobility in order to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels, whose imports cost the country around $4 billion annually. The government has launched a national 2025-2030 strategy aimed at putting more than 500,000 electric vehicles into circulation by 2030, while also expanding the charging infrastructure. This policy is supported by electricity production that is largely generated from renewable energy sources, mainly hydropower, which is considered a major asset for the viability of this transition. The initiative also seeks to reduce pressure on foreign currency reserves and cut greenhouse gas emissions.
In the same spirit of regional openness, Ghana has adopted a measure to facilitate African mobility. Listen for more details.
Ghana has introduced a new policy allowing holders of African passports to enter its territory without a visa, a measure that came into effect on May 25th. The decision aims to strengthen trade, boost tourism, and promote African integration. It is part of a broader drive to facilitate free movement and reduce administrative barriers across this continent. Authorities have announced a gradual implementation process alongside adjustments to border control measures in order to balance mobility and security.
On the international stage, diplomatic tensions and negotiations continue on several sensitive fronts. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance announced significant progress in negotiations between U.S. and Iran. Listen for more details.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance stated that the United States and Iran had made significant progress in ongoing negotiations, indicating that both sides were close to reaching an agreement despite continuing disagreements over Iran's nuclear program. Speaking to reporters, Vance said that no final agreement had yet been concluded with Tehran, stressing that it remained difficult to determine whether or when President Donald Trump would sign a framework agreement with Iran.
In a more tragic humanitarian context, the situation in the Middle East remains marked by heavy civilian casualty. Listen to Dini Musa.
Thousands of Palestinians gathered Thursday morning in Gaza City to take part in funeral prayers for 10 people killed in overnight Israeli airstrikes carried out across several neighborhoods for the enclave. According to local and medical sources, the victims included 5 children as well as an elderly person. Several other residents were also injured, some critically, following bombardments that targeted densely populated residential areas.
Finally, in U.S., a tragic incident mobilized emergency services in the city of Dallas. Listen for more details.
Rescue team in the city of Dallas are continuing search and rescue operations following an explosion and major fire that struck a residential complex in the Oak Cliff neighborhood, causing multiple casualties and extensive damage. According to the Associated Press, the incident left at least 3 people dead, including a child and 2 men, while 5 others were injured and transported to nearby hospitals for treatment.
And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.